Greetings and salutations. This is the voice of Loquacious of Heard, bringing you his afterthoughts on My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Season 7, Episode 4, titled Rock Solid Friendship. I heartily suggest you find and watch the episode itself sans commentary before proceeding with either this Afterthoughts review or viewing my full reaction, which is hosted at the link in the description. Please support the official release, and be warned, this Afterthoughts review will contain spoilers for the episode itself. With that out of the way, on to the review. We begin with the ceremony where Maudlin Daisy Pye, better known to us as Maud, is graduating from Equestria's School of Rock. Well, technically the Equestrian Institute of Rockology, where Maud has earned her doctorate in rock studies. Congrats to Dr. Pye on completing her advanced degree, and geology is a fun science to study. The music that plays over the Dean's speech is indeed, as I suspected, Edward Elgar's Pomp and Circumstance March No. 1 in D. Also, it's only a small turnout. Then again, Maud is the only student graduating. Ordinarily, I feel being the singular student in your class might detract a bit from the honor of being a valedictorian, but I'm sure that regardless of how many geologists the school were to be graduating in any given term, Maud would be at the head of the class anyway. The whole Pye family is there, Igneous Rock Pye being the stoic father, and Cloudy Quartz, the teary-eyed, oh-so-proud mother. Marble Pies being extra shy and quiet and embarrassed by Pinky's enthusiastic outburst. Marble Pie clearly also having no patience for Pinky's vocal shenanigans, and of course Pinky is there being extra loud and cheerful. Boulder's in attendance too. I did like how all of the Pye family seemed supportive of Maud and happy for her. Why, even Marble and Limestone share a pleased smile, at least until Pinky starts being loud and in the way. As for Maud, Maud's Maud, which is always amusing to see. Sometimes a bit disconcerting, but still amusing. So, a graduation. I've said it before, but My Little Pony is a show that isn't afraid to have transformative life events happen in their characters' lives. The show will, and does, shake things up on occasions, and when the dust settles, things haven't returned to the previous status quo. Now it's clear that this cycle of character development holds true for the secondary and background ponies as much as for primary foreground ponies. So last we heard, Maud was studying stones and all earthy things relating thereto. Now her studies are over. So, what's next for our expressions oh-so-muted Pye sister? As we return from the credits, we learn that this question is the central point that the whole episode is going to address. Studies over, Maud does not intend to return to the family farm, but to take up an occupation, one which of course will involve her passion for rocks, elsewhere in Equestria. And right now she's got the location narrowed down to two possibilities. One of which is Ghastly Gorge, a nice callback to May the Best Pet Win. The other is Ponyville. Pinky has a very definite preference as to where her beloved older sister should settle. It's super sweet. Also super hyper and a tad annoying. Still super sweet. You can really tell that Pinky is excited about the possibility of having Maud as a nearer neighbor. And Pinky is loud and frenetic and bouncy enough when she's not at her most excited. In this situation, Pinky makes me want to say, "Whoa girl, on a scale of 1 to 10, you're running at about an 11, maybe a 12. Could you dial it back down to, say, a 7 or an 8? That'd be great." Indeed, it seems clear that Pinky's eagerness to have Maud living nearby is the main reason that Maud is actually considering Ponyville as an option at all. Also, Pinky's Maud impression, brilliant and funny. Already I can tell this will be an episode that will make me laugh. Sure, Pinky might be on one of her over-the-top modes, but you know what? This time there's an understandable reason for why she's acting up in her occasionally wildly crazy fashion. So Pinkie Pie starts off by trying to wow Maud with Ponyville's geology. We get another look at the gem cave from Gauntlet of Fire, complete with minor Rarity, her mining helmet with its bow ornamentation, and Rarity's assistant Spike. It's a lovely exchange. Ponies are clearly pleased to see Maud, and Maud is singularly helpful to Rarity in locating a particular gem. Plus, once again, the show plays around with diegetic sound. The whole ethereal harp background music thing, as a character's gaze shifts over some scenic natural wonder, has long been a way to tell the audience this is a truly beautiful, magical, rare, and wonderful place. But in this case, the music is actually being provided by Pinkie Pie. In addition to the comedy value, this serves to once again reinforce to me that the vast majority of the musical moments, particularly the spontaneous bursting into song thing, are actually happening diegetically, even when the show doesn't go out of its way to hammer home the point. At this stage, I think the writers would actually need to make a particular point that a song was non-diegetic for we, the audience, to see it as such. Oh, and as for the scenic beauty of the cave, well, unfortunately Maud can be a bit blunt at times. Turns out all these rare and wonderful gems that Rarity's been gathering, actually all quite common. As a result, the Interesting Rocks score is sitting at Ghastly Gorge 1, Ponyville 0. Also, the unintentional hurting of Rarity's feelings is probably a negative in Maud's book, a sign that even those ponies she's met before, ponies she likes, well, maybe they just don't mix as well as they should. Also, nice return to the grabbing a check from off the screen joke. Only Pinkie Pie. Okay, clearly Pinkie will have her work cut out for her if she's going to sell Maud on Ponyville as a new home based on the local mineral formations. So next stop, Twilight's Castle. It's a castle made of crystals. And big shout out to Brony Burning Axe, for I can no longer watch this scene without immediately thinking,
"Hello, I'm from Hasbro! Buy our toys!"
That was a touch of genius, Burning Axe. Keep up the good work. But back to the episode itself. It turns out that the particular crystals that the tree palace is grown from are less than impressive. And as for the whole crystals used as a building material thing, well, Maud rightly points out, rocks are a very stable building material. Lots of buildings are made from rocks. The rock score, for those of us following at home, remains Ghastly Gorge 1, Ponyville 0. And here Pinkie's just dropped the two biggest bits of interesting geology Ponyville has to offer on her sister Maud. Maud's world, it remains unrocked. Pinkie slips into panic mode. She begins to point out non-rocks as possible rare rocks in an effort to interest Maud. Stingbush seed pods? Not rocks. Also, they look quite uncomfortable. Tank? Not a rock, though he is a rockin' tortoise. Lyra heartstrings? Also not a rock, although she's willing to play the part of one when faced with a scarily freaking out Pinkie Pie. I'm amused by Bonbon's disgust with Pinkie as she drags her mare friend Lyra, her best friend who just happens to be a mare, away from this scene. It's probably a good thing too, what with the whole being a secret agent business, Bonbon probably isn't the sort of mare to piss off. Especially if one is familiar with the mares of Smile. I hear rumors that Special Agents Drops and Heartstrings make for a good team for the Secret Monster Intelligence League of Equestria. Evil changelings beware and all that. Score? Still Ghastly Gorge 1, Ponyville 0. Pinkie Pie realizes that it seems like, on geology alone, Ponyville can't really compete with Ghastly Gorge. Her dreams of having her beloved sister living nearby are slipping away. And all that nervous, excited, happy energy, it's slipping away too, leaving Pinkie Pie rather deflated. Literally, in this case, which is weird to see. Pinkie Pie is strong with the cartoon physics. But what is this? Maud admits that rocks aren't the only reason she's considering Ponyville. Being near to her sister Pinkie Pie is one reason, clearly, but Maud has come to desire friendship. She'd like to build relationships with ponies who really get her, ponies she can just be herself around, ponies she can share her passions with. And Ponyville, it offers the possibility of friendship. Maud admits she'd be willing to take less exciting rocks if it meant she had a friend she could share such things with. A friend who wasn't family. Cue the return of Pinkie's over-enthusiasm. Pinkie will find Maud a friend. Why, one will come out of Twilight's door at any minute now. Any minute. Any minute now. Blast it, Pinkie, did you burn through all of your Gnosis-granted mana already? Is your vulgar magic attempt to summon an appropriate friend prospect running up against the roadblock of Paradox? As an acanthus, because what else would Pinkie be, I thought you'd have better luck than that. and certainly enough dots in Fate, Spirit, and Time Arcana to weave together a plot-convenient summon friend spell. Perhaps she botched some sort of willpower roll to abruptly force the universe to obey her random whims, rather than following along its more mundane course. Oh, wait, comic timing delay. Done and done, and here's Starlight. This is an unexpected pairing, but Maud and Starlight immediately strike me as a very valid potential friendship. This could actually work. Okay, so I was mostly kidding about the whole Pinkie Pie is secretly an awakened mage thing a la the White Wolf role-playing game system. There's no wild, unbelievable, unlikely, fate-based connection that has been conjured out of nowhere due to Pinkie's just wanting it to happen really, really bad. Seriously, it's not like Starlight and Maud have met before, right?
You look really familiar. Have we met before?
Yes.
I knew it!
I'm with Pinkie on this one.
What?
How wildly unlikely was the connection between Starlight and Maud? How did they meet? Under what circumstances? I have so many questions. Fortunately, the episode immediately provides the necessary answers.
How is this possible?
I traveled Equestria for my Rockdort dissertation.
Psst. Do you know a lot about rocks?
Yes.
Have you ever come across some kind of super powerful stone that can store the cutie mark magic of, I don't know, an entire village?
Yep. In the big cave.
So, Maud helps make supervillains. That's a thing now. A thing that happened. A thing we're going to keep under wraps for a great many reasons. Well, two things. This is so unexpected and perfect for Pinkie's needs that I'm right back to the whole Pinkie's an awakened mage headcanon thing again. And I find all this hilarious. Seriously, I had some measure of difficulty remaining in my chair as I struggled to hold back the bulk of my laughter. This episode is comedy gold. And now it's on a path to get even better. Maud and Starlight hanging out with Pinkie's encouragement and interference, bonding and becoming friends. In yet another nugget of comedy gold vein, Maud's messing with Starlight.
Rocks take on different properties when interacting with magic. With the right stone, you could rule all of Equestria if you wanted to.
You're messing with me.
Am I?
For the sake of continuing to sleep peacefully, I'm going to choose to believe that Maud was just messing with Starlight. So, other than rocks for Maud and magic for Starlight, do they have any other interests, other passions? For Maud, stand-up comedy. Having seen her roast Discord back in Make New Friends But Keep Discord, I can believe it. For Starlight,
I like kites.
Starlight really likes kites. You know, it's kind of rare to be there, front and center, when a meme gets born. But here we have it. Oh, and the faces this episode. I haven't mentioned it that much, but I'm super pleased by how the animators have, yet again, stepped up their game from last season. All the episodes this season, this one included, are visual treats. Now, Maud and Starlight do seem to be hitting it off. But here's Pinkie, butting in and trying to force everything to work out how she wants it to. Her manufactured excuse for showing up at the kite-flying hill is utterly transparent. Neither Starlight nor Maud are buying it for a second. Also, just a quick digression on the subject of kites. Here's a translation for the jargon Starlight drops. A SLK is a single-line kite, one with only one string you hold onto. The spars on a kite are the various solid bits, often wooden or plastic rods, that provide the shape or superstructure that the more clothy or sail-like bits are attached to. Ballast is, simply, something that provides weight, often weight intended for stability. To tack is a sailing term for moving in a zigzag fashion which takes you against the prevailing wind. How far you need to deviate from straight ahead when tacking can be described in terms of angles. In aerodynamics, the specific deviation from straight on is called the angle of incidence, or AOI. So, in layman's terms, what Starlight's hilltop speech would effectively translate to would be something like this. When flying a kite like the one I'm flying now, the trick is to make sure the structure is just the right weight. Too heavy and it won't get off the ground, too light and you can't control where it's going. The wind will whip it all over the place and cause it to crash. Also, poor Derpy, she gets a pizza flung at her head. But this is Derpy, she's awesome. She don't care about that. Plus, bonus, she's got a free pizza! Go her! Maud and Starlight make their exit, and Maud apologizes for Pinky's extra levels of pinkiness today. Starlight understands. Starlight is one of Pinky's friends too, after all. On to explore one of Maud's great interests now. So, back to the gym cave, where we get a surprisingly deep and touching moment in the midst of all the comedy. Maud's rather feelsy reasons for liking rocks resonate with Starlight. Starlight gets it. She gets Maud. And that small smile Maud gives, that's heartwarming. That's a delight right there. That's priceless. Suddenly, while the rock-related scorecard still reads Ghastly Gorge 1, Ponyville 0, there's a new modifier that's been added. Oh, it may be in small print, but it's right there, below the family modifier, where Ponyville has Pinky's here plus 1 versus Ghastly Gorge's Pinky's not here plus 0, this new line for friendship. Ponyville has Starlight's here plus 1, going for it as well. Friendship is one of the factors Maud's looking at in deciding her move, and suddenly Ponyville is making a late comeback. Then Maud and Starlight discover a truly magnificent, incredibly rare cavern ecosystem like nothing Maud has seen before. What's this? A tied scorecard? Ghastly Gorge 1 and Ponyville 1 on the rock count, with the friendship and family bonus heavily favoring Ponyville. Things are looking good. But then Pinkie Pie arrives. Her over-the-top antics have gone past annoying for both Starlight and Maud, and Pinkie's still ramping the excitement up. But Pinkie also senses that the moment is slipping away. What to do? How about the worst possible thing and double down on forcing friendships between Starlight and Maud? A quick cave-in to trap them together should do it. Oh, Pinkie, I face-off so hard in your general direction. Also, of course, a cave-in's not going to stop that pair. Starlight just needs to come up with the right spell, and...
Get us out of here, boy.
Boulder, that was awesome!
Or that. That works too. I'll admit that's awesome. And on the heels of this bit of awesome comes Pinkie, still intent on helping. But she's not helping, she's halping. As I've said before, in reference to our dear derpy hooves, halp is very much like help. But it isn't. And this isn't a good thing. Further, as I mentioned in my reaction, this episode does not need more cowbell. Nor does it need a brunch with red velvet and jalapeno cupcake omelets. By now, even Maud's sighing in aggravation. You know things have hit the big leagues when Maud has an observable, outward, emotional display. It's well established that Maud does feel emotions. She may feel them quite deeply and passionately. She just doesn't show her emotions outwardly in the same way that her sisters do. Unfortunately, this particular display of obvious emotion on Maud's part means Major League badness. But then, as Starlight departs, stripping off their bells with an oh-so-sarcastic and oh-so-appropriate oops, we get a second Maud smile. Seriously, those two have totally hit it off. Maud really likes Starlight. Starlight really likes Maud. This is obvious. But Pinkie is still being too involved, too controlling, and too obnoxiously Pinkie for this budding friendship to go anywhere. After some extra annoying, and with that goodnight kiss also extra sweet interaction with Pinkie Pie, our favorite pink pony turns out the lights, using a clapper because of course she does, and goes to sleep. Side note, ponies in pajamas are totes adorbs. I fully expect this to become a new artistic thing in the fandom. That night, Maud makes her decision. When she does, the scoreboard reads Rocks, Ghastly Gorge 1, Ponyville 1. The bonus friendship and family points. Well, on Friends, Ghastly Gorge gets a +0 and Ponyville gets a +1. But, due to Pinkie's recent actions and over-the-top excitement, the family equation has changed. Having Pinkie around acting like this, that's become a liability rather than a bonus. So now the family line reads Absence of Pinkie Pie, +1 for Ghastly Gorge, -1 for Ponyville. Final modified score? Ghastly Gorge 2, Ponyville 1. So Maud left with the dawn, and she leaves a note for Pinkie. Pinkie is understandably distraught. Pinkie goes to speak with Starlight to let Maud's new almost a friend know that Maud has left town. Whilst Pinkie is bemoaning that Starlight and Maud hadn't become besties, Starlight informs Pinkie that, well, they had been hitting it off quite well, only, you know, Pinkie was being Pinkie. Her interference, though springing from the best of intentions, was far more hurtful than helpful. In short,
Let's go with, you ruined everything all the time?
sad Pinkie is sad. I find it an interesting thing that Starlight is the one in a position to teach Pinkie Pie a lesson which Starlight herself had to learn the hard way long, long ago.
Y'all don't understand, do ya? You can't force no pony to be friends. It don't work like that.
It's neat how themes and ideas recur within the series. With variations and new takes on relationships, it doesn't strike me that they're simply reusing old ideas so much as continuing to further explore certain core themes about friendship. And kudos to the show for that. Meanwhile, Maud is now in Ghastly Gorge studying rocks. She's also clearly not happy. She even goes so far as to say sigh. But then, an intriguing mystery. One of her new pebbles leads her to a rare gem fusion, specifically Emerald Jasper. Okay, so the gem in question is also right in front of the cave of one of Ghastly Gorge's quarry eels. And here I thought we had seen the last of those terrible monsters when Dash was racing all of her prospective pets through this canyon. Pinkie arrives looking for her sister. Lovely transition at the train stop. The flight of birds is so perfectly ominous. The art and the animation teams have, as usual, brought an amped-up A-game to the new season. A quick hunt down the trail and Maud is found. Found inside the maw of a quarry eel, that is. Maud quite clearly hasn't noticed that part yet. Distracted by rocks, you know. Also, given Maud's strength and durability, I honestly think Pinkie was doing the eel a favor by extracting her sister from its mouth. That poor monster could have broken all of its teeth on Dr. Pie, and she probably wouldn't have noticed it. I'm also pleased that Pinkie used a traditional jack to pry the eel's maw open, rather than, say, grabbing Applejack from off-screen and using her for the same task, which the show has effectively done before. But now, time to flee the monsters, and time to pull the conflict towards its literal cliffhanger of a conclusion. Maud doesn't feel comfortable in Ponyville. Part of that is because of Pinkie's latest antics. Pinkie apologizes, having realized that Pinkie's way of making friends doesn't work for every pony. Maud accepts. After all, Maud has always known that Pinkie was being so frustratingly over the top because Pinkie cared so very, very much. Ah, so sweet. And so we close. Maud has moved to Ponyville. Well, maybe not into the town proper, but into one of the adjacent outlying areas around it. Adjacent, I suspect, in the same way that the orchards of Sweet Apple Acres or Fluttershy's Nestled in the Woods cottage are adjacent to the town. Very nearby, but not quite in the official limits. Maud's now occupying that fabulous cavern that she and her new friend Starlight had discovered. Why, Maud's even wearing the Best Sister Friends Forever slippers that Pinkie had made for her. And so closes yet another fun, laugh-inducing, and sweet episode, one which fleshes out and explores side characters alongside the more traditional main cast. I like this trend. I even liked how they used Pinky in this episode. She was abrasively annoying, which was the point. Pinky became the conflict, even as she tried to solve the conflict. I feel this worked. While there were times that her antics became face-hoofingly frustrating, times when, as a viewer, I wanted to reach into the screen and hold her mouth shut and say, "Shh, no more words now." This was exactly the level of too excited interference needed to make Maud's own difficulties in choosing a new home seem like an actual real struggle. I'm just glad that Pinky is only like this some of the time. When her hyperactivity kicks in and her enthusiasm gets the best of her, well, she doesn't always make the best choices. But she is always operating from the best intentions. So I, like Maud, find it easy to forgive Pinky and give her plenty of slack. Plus, it can be fun to watch the wildness when things are spiraling out of control. If you wish to see my full reaction to My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, Season 7, Episode 4, titled Rock Solid Friendship, the link, as I mentioned earlier, is in the description. Feel free to leave any comments or likes for that reaction here on this Afterthoughts review. And until next time, as always, kindly remember, y'all are awesome. Stay awesome.